brings now, let me take you to the judiciary arena, because Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono is pledging to rid the judiciary of corrupt elements. The Chief Justice, in a real public event to outline what he says is a vision for the judiciary, says there are certain unknown faces who engage in corruption in the name of the judiciary.
I deeply crave, along with all well-wishers, I'm sure, to change the tag of corruption, ineptitude, and inefficiency around the neck of the judiciary and judicial service of Ghana. We cannot do this without the support and attention of all stakeholders. The Bangalore Principles of Judicial Conduct and the Latimer House Principles are international instruments that Ghana's judiciary are committed to. In order to shake off these tags, training needs to be supplemented with consistent culture-changing strategies to deepen ethical models of work in the courts. Judicial administration must close the gaps through which court users are subjected to exploitation and rent-seeking behavior. This demands the removal of as much of the human interfacing that court work is exposed to. Court officials are expected to work with independence, with impartiality, competence, and integrity. Much of these ethical values are lost in the heavy traffic of human interfacing between court officials and court users, including unknown brokers functioning around the courts. The vision for producing culture-changing reorientation programs cannot be achieved without the active participation, the active partnership and support of stakeholders, including communities of businesses and donors.
The Chief Justice also says the judiciary will truly digitalize under her watch, insisting she will do all she can to revolutionize the way land cases, which sometimes drag for years, are expeditiously dealt with.
There is a need for the judiciary to make itself accountable by increasing transparency in the process and output of our judgments and decisions through real-time publications of decisions, especially when it comes to decisions on land ownership and other areas of law that affect the economy and social stability of the country. The judiciary is not known for speaking outside the corridors of the courts. And so it will not surprise me if many find this morning's event a bit odd. However, I have taken the step of doing so because, as Albert Einstein is quoted as saying, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. What is causing so much litigation over land? When land is the most effective source of equity and capital for prosperity and business, could the high cost of doing business in Ghana be related to the incessant litigation over land? How are we affecting the peace index of the nation through this high volume of land litigation? What must we all do differently? As administrator of justice on behalf of the citizenry, I deem it my bounden duty to call for such conversations that will assist us all to break these high walls against the easy flow of capital and investments into our country because of the uncertainty of security of investment in landed property.
So let's break it down. And Kwaku Asante of our Legal Affairs Desk joins me with more from this. Kwaku, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's start with the Attorney General. Yes. He was there and had some strong words about some judges.
In fact, yes, the Attorney General talks about how everyone in government wants to support the Chief Justice with this. But he says there's been so much complaints about judges that he describes as inept. And this
that means they don't know what they are doing.
Exactly. So he says this vision will not get to where it's supposed to get to if you don't deal with those elements who are still in the judiciary. Listen to the Attorney General.
The leadership was encouraging you for this laudable initiative. May we remind ourselves that the greatest number of complaints about the justice delivery system in Ghana border on ineptitude of judges, attitude towards litigants and lawyers, as well as delays with the conclusion of cases. I'm of the fervent belief that your vision will result in a reduction of this phenomenon. Ultimately, in my respectful view, there also needs to be a rethinking of the exercise of the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court to ensure that the workload of the Supreme Court is manageable and conducive to efficiency. Drawing on the practice and experience in other jurisdictions in and outside the common law world, the Supreme Court ought to be able to, by recourse to enactment of regulations governing the multiplicity of jurisdictions conferred on it, and within the constraints of the Constitution, restrict the number of cases it has, especially on appeals from the Court of Appeal to the Supreme Court. This will result in the delivery of more quality justice by the highest court of the land. I say that it is a digitized environment. I say that a digitized environment results in transparency, accountability, and efficiency in the public sector, and ultimately helps to eliminate and prevent corruption. The prospect of improved productivity and reduction of costs that digitization brings requires that the judiciary embraces same fully. I have no doubt that we will achieve a fully digitized environment in the tenure of a leadership, the Chief Justice. Indeed, I see the era in which there will be the end. I see the era in which there will be the need for more virtual court houses, easily accessible to all from any part of the world, rather than physical court houses constructed in communities and accessible to only a few, much closer than anticipated.
The Attorney General, let's talk about the Vice President and the support he is extending. What exactly is he saying? Well,
the Vice President has become the poster boy for digitalization when it comes to this government. And he says that he's had several conversations with the Chief Justice, who's really expressed her willingness to also digitalize the judiciary. There are so many courts you go and you are looking for a very simple document, they can't find it. The Chief Justice, in fact, in her own address, shows pictures of certain court registries where court documents are just strewn all over the floor. And so the Chief Justice is getting the support of the Vice President, who is committing that the government is really keen on supporting this agenda of hers, and that whatever it is that government can do within its power to support the Chief Justice deliver on this new vision that she set out in this address, government will do that.
Justice is not about its trappings, but its utility. I am happy that the Honorable Lady Chief Justice, just like her predecessors, has answered this important call, and by doing so is leading the third arm of the state to make the promise of our nation evident in the lives of our people and extend to all the protection that is theirs by birth. I note with great admiration and excitement the new impetus, focus, energy, and dynamism that her leadership has brought to the administration of justice since she took over the reins of office less than a year ago. It is this new zeal and sense of urgency that has culminated in the vision that we are launching today, which would be the blueprint for her administration and point the way for the judiciary and the Judicial Service towards the goal that meets the justice demands of the 21st century and beyond.
And Waku, I'm interested in the position of the Ghana Bar Association in this matter, because this vision can become reality if the Chief Justice gets the support of lawyers. For example. So the GBA, what is their stand on this matter?
Well, also, like you rightly stated, perhaps one of the biggest users of the court system and the judiciary are lawyers.
Right.
But from the very parties who employ the lawyers to work for them. So the lawyers are such a key part of this. And in fact, they themselves have been doing something of their own. The Chief Justice announced today that the Ghana Bar Association has adopted a new process where they are going to equip all courts across the country with chairs and tables. And they call it one lawyer, one chair, one lawyer, one table. So that when lawyers...
the case that sometimes lawyers go to court
exactly, they don't get a place to sit. In
on.
fact, there are so many lawyers who have to stand behind the bar, wait for certain lawyers who are in the bar to finish speaking. They get up and they have to go and sit down. And so the Ghana Bar Association is committing to doing this, using their own resources to support the judiciary in doing this. The Chief Justice says they've signed a memorandum of understanding with the GBA, and that event is being implemented. But on the specific core of this new vision, the president of the Bar Association, Yawa Champomboafo, says it's a laudable idea that the Chief Justice is bringing together such a laudable project to be implemented. They're going to support the Chief Justice every step of the way. They have a recommendation to the government through the Finance Ministry that whatever it is that the judiciary is able to collect in terms of IGF should be retained 100% by the judiciary. We know that all state institutions that do any business that retain some IGF would have to give a part of that to the state through the Finance Ministry. And the GBA position now is that the judiciary, because of the work they need to do, because of the kind of investment they need to do to bring courts across the country up to par, need to be able to retain all their IGF. And this is something that he thinks the government should really consider.
We at the Ghana Bar Association have no doubt about the capacity of a leadership to bring real leadership to the judiciary and in the administration of justice in Ghana. It is instructive to state her leadership is leading the judiciary at a very critical and significant stage in our country, a stage where there is more awareness among the people from whom justice emanates about their rights and expectations of propriety, and more integrity from our judges and staff of the Judicial Service, and an equal demand from the citizenry for more accountability and efficiency of the judiciary. It is also a stage that has also witnessed one of the most remarkable and bold efforts at infrastructure developments that has led to the building of new modern court buildings and bungalows at the different levels of the judiciary, largely the product of the vision of recent past Chief Justice of the Republic. Equally, it is a stage of enhanced recognition for and adoption of technology in the operations of the judiciary. King Solomon, in his impeccable wisdom, acknowledged in the book of Proverbs chapter 29, verse 18, where there is no vision, the people perish. A vision for any institution, especially for an important one such as the judiciary, is that's crucial and invigorating. As the head and leader of the judiciary, her leadership is its embodiment. She provides a drive and direction, and in my humble view, the judiciary is propelled by the vision of the Chief Justice, around which human and financial resources are mobilized to achieve the ends of that vision. It is our hope that it will be a vision that will be transformative